What's going on, knuckleheads? This is our Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero post-fight reaction discussion live. An absolute snooze fest, bullshit main event fight, if you ask me. Really, really kind of boring. No real excitement at all. I mean, there were spots where Yoel Romero threw an exciting strike, but mostly it was Israel Adesanya winning the fight with hard leg strikes. Right now, they're doing the post fight interview with Yoel Romero, but to be honest, it's not even worth me paying attention to. Um, Not a lot to talk about in this fight. Just basically what was expected. I mean, Israel Adesanya fighting at range. Yoel Romero trying to explode in once in a while, land a big shot, but not enough to really win the fight. Hardly enough to win a couple rounds. It's weird because it seemed really obvious that if Yoel Romero were to rush in and take Israel Adesanya down, he could ground and pound him, or I think in the transition and in the scrambles, could have really hurt Adesanya. And he showed that a couple times during the fight that, after he took Adesanya down, you know, I don't know what he's talking about right now. Oh, he's talking about running and Usain Bolt. So Adesanya is running from him. I don't know. So anyway, my point is that in the scrambles, Yoel Romero had some success, and that's what he should have stuck to. I mean, why would you be, you know, why would you have a wrestling acumen the way Yoel Romero has and not use it? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And, it's kind of weird. I don't understand the guy. I don't understand. Maybe it's just easier to strike. Maybe he doesn't feel like, wrestling anymore because he's obviously he's older. Maybe it's too much on his body, but I don't get it. If you're having so much success when you are wrestling against Israel Adesanya, why not just do that for the entirety of the fight? Make it a hard fight, pressure Adesanya. I mean, the way he was fighting basically gave him chance possible, the least chance possible to win that fight. Um, and Fight Life Nation. I mean, feels the way we all feel. I think saying that main event was trash, which it absolutely was. One Eluzai is saying Israel started to time Romero. I mean, started to time him will win. I mean, when did that happen? There was hardly any action in that fight. So let's, he says time Romero's takedowns. The only times Romero kind of tried taking him down, he took him down. I think he was 2 for 3, 2 for 2. So I mean, I disagree with that. That was his only shot at winning or pressuring Adesanya. If you watch the Wilness fight against Adesanya before he left Glory, that's the way to beat him. You got to pressure him, and that's why I think Paulo Costa has a much better chance than Yoel Romero did tonight, and I really want to see. I really want to see Paulo Costa's fight against Israel Adesanya. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Most importantly, though, most importantly, that strawweight fight, that women's strawweight title fight, like Fight Life Nation is saying, man, that was crazy. That was crazy. What's up, Calculated Risk? Jimmy Robertson saying, "Oh God," I don't know what he's saying, "Oh God" about, but what's up, Calculated Risk? But yeah, man, that strawweight fight, that women's co-main event, I think that really kind of set the tone to piss off the people watching the main event because the that women's strawweight title fight, the co-main event. I'll be honest, that's going to go down as one of the best fights in UFC history. That was a lot of excuse me, that was a lot of excitement. And to transition from that into that horrific Main event where there was no action was crazy. That was crazy to me. So, anyway, knuckleheads, as you guys know, we do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And immediately after the big fights, that's why we're on right now. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon. Typically, we're in the dungeon where I have the webcam, but today we're doing this on the phone because, man, it's just been a rough day, and I'm lying down on the couch right now, and I cannot bear to sit in front of a computer anymore. But again, so Israel Adesanya defeats Yoel Romero by unanimous decision. 49-46, 48-47, 48-47 is how the judges score the bout. I'm okay with the decision. Fight was boring as hell. Um, Not a good fight at all. Actually, one of the most boring main events I've seen in a long time. It kind of reminded me of that Ngannou versus Derek Lewis fight. Man, that was a boring fight. And it was like that. And right now they're showing highlights of Paulo Costa, and that's going to be the fight to make. I actually think after what I saw tonight, that Costa can really do some damage against Adesanya if that fight happens. But we'll see. We'll see. So Josh Karoy says, who win? Like I said, Israel Adesanya by unanimous decision. Calculated risk saying disappointed Yoel Izzy fight. Yeah, man. It was a disappointing fight. It was boring. And calculated risk is saying, and people still say Habib's boring. No, man. Habib actually gets you on the ground and does good stuff. Uh, Bangs you out or comes after you nonstop, relentless, brings a little bit of excitement. This fight here was just total bullshit. Two guys respecting each other way too much, not fighting. At one point, the referee even said, and I think the Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier were commenting on it, but the referee was basically saying, "Hey, like, give these judges something to score. Let's go." And it's bad when the referee is telling you to give the judges something to score. I mean, that shit was depressing to watch. Greg Pimentel says, which fight was better, Adesanya versus Romero or Silva versus Maya? Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know. Calculated risk says, oh God, Ngannou versus Lewis. I mean, yeah, it was on that level. I mean, this was like watching John Fitch versus a brick wall, or Damian Maya against a training dummy. I mean, that's what this fight was like. It was boring as hell, and I think this hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I feel like this kind of hurt Israel Adesanya's brand a little bit because we're so used to so much excitement and drama and action coming from him. And he came out with the badass intro with the two fine African chicks, and the first thing I thought to myself as they were walking on each side of him, dropping flower petals to the ground was the royal penis is clean, Your Highness. That's what I was thinking um, as he walked into the ring. But, you know, that was the most exciting part of the fight for me was the sweet African mommies on each side of Israel Adesanya because that fight was not very good. However, I do think that the co-main event was worth the price of admission, with Zhang Weili defeating Joanna Jędrzejczyk 48-47, 48-47, and 47-48 in a split decision. I actually disagree with that decision. I agree the fact that Zhang Weili won, but I actually had it closer to a shutout for Weili. I thought she won every round of that fight. I thought Joanna, of course, made it a fight, but I just felt like her strikes are far too weak to hurt Zhang. And I had a discussion with somebody about this earlier this week. I think it may have been Marco from Fight Life Nation. in Fighters Rep. I think it might have been you, Marco. I told you that I thought Zhang Weili was just way too strong. It might have been Ivan Calderon, but I said Zhang Weili is just way too strong, and Joanna's not going to be able to beat her. And that came to fruition, man. Joanna, I mean, Zhang Weili was just walking through Joanna's hardest shots. Um, and when she would hit Joanna, I mean, you would see the effect. It was much clearer that Wei Li Zhang had the power in this fight, and she was also keeping up with the pace of Joanna. So I actually thought it was pretty clear that she won, although it was a very exciting, action-packed fight because they were trading a lot. I mean, these girls were trading a lot with each other, and people's heads were getting snapped back and left and right. But I will say, Joanna definitely took the brunt of the damage, and I actually in the fifth round, fourth, fifth round, like it was hard to watch because Joanna was basically getting disfigured. It looks like she had her nose crushed with a left hook, and then she got a huge hematoma on her forehead. So her forehead was like swelling out to here, and her nose was busted. I mean, and she just looked like an absolute mess. And I don't know, man. That was sort of uncomfortable to watch all that. You know what I mean? I hate to see someone, get destroyed, and she was in there getting destroyed. So let's see what you guys are saying in here. They didn't land anything, just like shadow sparring. Says calculated risk about the main event. David Austin says this had less action than Ngannou and Lewis. David Alcantara liked my Maya versus training dummy comment. Oh man. Juan Eluze says Costa was caught pissing dirty. Many are saying he faked the injury to clear his system. Romero was flexing and posing too much during the fight. Yeah, that was just weird, man. Calculated Risk saying hopefully UFC 249 would redeem this card. I mean, we'll see. I think it will. I think it's going to be exciting to watch Ferguson Habib. Hopefully, it actually goes through. Hopefully, it actually goes through this time. Muay Thai 23 saying JJ got left with a head like a bell pepper, man. That was disturbing to watch. Uh, Brandon Ibako says Romero made me lose money. He is stupid. Fight Life Nation says I disagree with you scoring. Joanna had Zhang hurt multiple times. No, she didn't. She never had her hurt, dude. You must be listening to Joe Rogan, bro. She never had her, especially at the end of the third. But Zhang came on strong. Nah, bro, you tripping. She beat her ass for 5 rounds, if you ask me. Calculated Risk says, who you got, George Tony versus Habib? I got Habib. Um, I got Habib. I don't think Tony's going to be able to handle his wrestling. Kevin Lee was doing Tony in, man. So I don't see Kevin Lee was doing Tony in before Tony snatched him. So I don't see Tony being able to handle the wrestling of a Habib. Josiah Montiel says Romero won 1, 2, and 5. How did Izzy win any of those rounds? That's up to you, man. You can, hey, that's your opinion. That fight was so fucking boring that, they could have said it was a draw. They could have said Romero won by shutout. They could have said Israel Adesanya won by shutout. I honestly wouldn't care. I mean, that fight was so bad. I'm just glad the fight's done. Uh, Josiah Montiel says, how is he going to claim to finish Romero, then brag about leg kicks? That's what won him the fight. Well, I mean, he was saying though that Yoel wasn't really engaging, and that's true. I mean, he wasn't really engaging that much. Fight Life Nation says, I don't think Rose can do much against Zhang. She's too powerful. I mean, should do a better job than Joanna would, though. I mean, Joanna, Joanna was landing some shots, and Rose is better. Um, Rose is better on the feet than Joanna. Fight Life Nation says you're off. Her coach carried her to the corner at the end of the third. Yeah, but did you see how awkward that is? She didn't need to be carried to the corner. She was fine. She was fine, and she was landing the majority of the big shots throughout the fight. She was walking through most of Joanna's stuff, dude. If they fight again, it's going to be the same exact result. She's going to beat Joanna up, man. Joanna's a gatekeeper at this point. She can't really, I don't think she can beat any of the champions. And I think she's just going to have to, unless she could drop down another division or something, then she's just going to have to pack it in, man, because she's not beating Shevchenko and she's not beating Zhang. She's not going to do it. So I don't know. But I do think Thug Rose has a chance as long as, she's mentally okay to come back and win. But I don't think Joanna Jędrzejczyk is ever going to win a title again. Calculated Risk says that's not a robbery. Nobody robbed nothing, but they both got empty pocket. I just dropped you. Says who won, Romero or Izzy? Izzy won, brother, in a very boring fight, and I'm glad you didn't watch it. Nicholas Roman says who won, guys? I just got off work. Yes, he won by decision, the style bender, and it was a boring fucking fight, Nicholas Roman. You didn't miss anything, man. Go get that money. You should have worked overtime and, saved your money for UFC 249. But I will say the co-main event was a badass fight. Uh, Fight Life Nation says Zhang landed all the big shots, but Joanna had very high volume. Okay, 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 Marco. The calculated risk really disappointed, man, to be honest. Pablo Picasso said, if you want, but Romero won 1, 2, and 5, so he won the fight. If you say so, Pablo Picasso, that fight fucking sucked, bro. I don't care, I don't care who won that fight, my brother. They can give that belt to anybody they want, and I'm totally unaffected because that fight was so bad. Um, and I'm totally okay with the decision. I'll say that as well. That was a whack fight. Nicholas Roman says, "Thanks, bro. I'm in Arizona. Big disappointment. Yeah, man, it was a big disappointment. That fight was whack, but the Zhang JJ fight was awesome. I will say that was worth the price of admission." Nicholas Roman says, "We'll talk. This should have been a fucking war, a 3 round, 4-5." Busting Cap says another controversial fight, but this time with Izzy and Romero. I don't think Izzy can talk too much about Jones' last fight. At least it was a fight. Busting Caps, I think all of Romero's fights are controversial because he's not like really willing to take big risks. He fights so conservatively. Um, it's almost like he's in aggressive survival mode or something. I don't know. I don't think Yoel Romero. He's another one. He's kind of like Johan. I think it's kind of done for him as far as winning a title. Calculated Risk says they should strip the belt from both. Nicholas Roman saying it should have been a war. Yeah, but definitely wasn't. Shiro Eureka says, what was the name of the walkout song for Israel? I have no idea, but that was probably more entertaining than the fight. Busting Caps is saying, which is weird, a man his size. Yeah. Pablo Picasso says, yes, okay, man. It was a shame, but on point, Romero won. Those judges didn't watch the fight. I agree. I thought, or rather, I disagree. I thought Adesanya won. Uh, Fighting unpredictable beast, only a bum would exchange and get knocked out. Yeah.